All right, let's talk about ChatGPT. Look, pretty much everyone has played around with it. But here's the thing, most of us are barely scratching the surface. If you're not getting mind-blowing, game-changing results, I'm gonna be blunt, you're probably using it wrong. So, let me ask you a question, and be honest. Are you basically just treating it like a superpowered Google? You pop in a question, you get an answer, and that's it? If that's you, then yeah, you're really missing out on its true power. Okay, so this is the absolute key. It's a total mindset shift. See, a search engine is, well, it's reactive, right? You ask something, it spits out an answer, and boom, it's forgotten you exist. But a personal assistant? That's a whole different ballgame. That's a partnership. We're talking proactive help, personalized solutions, not generic answers. It's an ongoing conversation where it actually remembers you. That's the huge difference. And that right there, that's what this is all about. You've got to stop seeing ChatGPT as just another app on your phone. Start thinking of it as your new hire. Yeah, really, like you just brought on a new team member, one who's insanely smart, always available, and never gets tired. But, and this is the important part, you have to onboard them. I love this quote from the source material because it just nails it. The real trick isn't about crafting one perfect genius prompt. No, the real magic, the real value is in teaching it how you think. It's about training it over time to understand exactly what you need. Okay, so you're probably thinking, onboard an AI? What does that even mean? Well, it's actually way simpler than it sounds. And it all starts with this one feature that, honestly, almost nobody uses. What you're going to do is dive into the settings and look for something called custom instructions. Think of this as creating a user manual, but for yourself. It's just two little boxes. In the first one, you tell it all about you, who you are, what you do, your goals, your big projects. And in the second box, you tell it how you want it to act. What's its personality? What tone should it use? You get to decide everything. And this isn't some vague, fluffy stuff. Let's look at some real examples from our source. For the About You part, you get specific. I'm a banker turned entrepreneur. I run 2 podcasts. I live a digital nomad life. Then for its personality, you shape it into the partner you need. Maybe you want an encouraging coach who's always cheering you on. Or maybe you need a super direct, no-nonsense analyst. It's totally up to you. This is so important. Seriously, think about it. You could hire the smartest intern on the planet. A total genius. But if you just sit them at a desk and say, go, they're going to be useless, right? They need to know what you're working on, how you like things done. It is the exact same thing with your AI assistant. That setup is everything. All right, so you've done the onboarding. Step 1, check. Now the real training starts. This is the day-to-day stuff. Every single time you use it, every task, every conversation, you're making it smarter. It's learning more and more about you and how to help you best. And I mean, you can train it on pretty much anything. Use it to help plan your schedule, brainstorm ideas for your next big project, or help you write that email you've been putting off. You can even ask it to explain really complex ideas in a simple way. Every little thing you do with it makes it a better, more valuable partner. Now, if there's one magic word in all of this, it's context. Context is everything. Let me just show you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's amazing how a little bit of extra info can completely change the results. So look at this. On one side, you have a super vague prompt. Help me draft a thank you note. And you get, well, a boring, generic template. Yawn. But on the other side, look what happens when you add just a little context. You mention what you talked about and how you felt. Suddenly, you've given your assistant what it needs to write something that's actually personal, something that's genuinely useful. That is what real collaboration looks like. And it can get even cooler than that. There's this great example from the source where they used it as a creative partner. They wanted to use this really complex Chinese idiom in a script. And not only did ChatGPT explain what it meant literally, but it also explained the feeling behind it, the application, this idea of a point of no return. It connected the dots in a way that was totally unexpected. That's next-level partnership. Okay, here's a pro tip to make all this work even better. You've got to be organized. The advice from the source is to treat each chat thread like a separate project file. So you'd have one single chat for your podcast, another one for that new business you're planning, maybe another for just personal stuff. Why? Because that keeps all the context locked in. The AI knows everything about your podcast, but only in that one chat. It's brilliant. So, you might be wondering, okay, this sounds cool, but is it really worth it? Why go through all this trouble to onboard and train a piece of software? Well, The payoff is huge. The result is you get an assistant that actually gets you. It learns your style, your goals, your weird little quirks. It stops being this thing you just give commands to and becomes a true partner, one that anticipates what you need, understands what you need without you having to spell it all out, and genuinely helps you get stuff done better and faster. The source mentions productivity guru Ali Abdaal, and he just puts it perfectly. He says, you need to add your soul into the ChatGPT. And that's exactly it. It's when you pour a little bit of yourself into it, your personality, your goals, that it stops being a generic tool and becomes, well, like an extension of your own brain. Now, to really unlock this stuff, especially that long-term memory we've been talking about, you are going to need the Pro plan. The source points out it costs about $20 a month. And, that brings us back to the big question. Is it worth it? But let's reframe that. For $20, you're getting a personalized assistant who's on call 24/7, never complains, is endlessly patient, and gets better at their job every single day. When you put it like that, because really, the crucial point here is that this is so much more than just a tool. Learning how to work with an AI like this, it's like learning a new language. It's a whole new kind of literacy that's gonna be essential. And I really want to leave you with this one last thought from the source, because it's a big one. It says, in the future, not knowing how to use a chatbot will be as if today you don't speak English. Wow. Just let that sink in. This isn't just about being more productive anymore. This is a fundamental skill for the future. So the only question left is, are you going to start training your new assistant?